All right, welcome traders and anyone new that's joining for the first time. Welcome to our weekly Sunday stock talk and our game plan for this week ahead. Today is March 30th, 2025, and time actually is irrelevant right now as the markets are closed. What is relevant though is the markets are going to sell off even more, or will they recover at this 465 level? Well, we are going to talk about it today, guys. So give me just a minute to share our link, spread the word that we are live, and yeah, we will get started. Hello, welcome. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic weekend. I know we certainly did. Wrapped up, a beautiful end to a great spring break week with the kiddos. So had a lot of fun. And yeah, if you guys want to check out some of the stuff we did over the weekend, check out my Instagram stories. Okay. All right, we got a busy week. We got a lot to talk about. There is quite a few reports that are going to be released this week, specifically on Tuesday. We're going to go over those real quick with you all here. We just want to make sure that everyone is here that needs to be here, okay? Let's make sure we get everyone who wants to join able to join, okay? Almost done here. Boom. All right, love it. Love to see it. And we're sharing it, of course, to our group of over 70,000 members, our Investing for Beginners community, one of the largest still active groups on YouTube. Definitely check it out. That was Facebook, our Discord, and of course, we can't forget our Instagram, right? All right, so you guys are here. Welcome. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Markets are selling off, right? We had a big sell-off on Wednesday, kind of flatlined on Thursday, and then on Friday had a huge sell-off. We had talked about this at open, about it selling off to 475, possibly even 460, 470, even 465, and sure enough, it sold all the way off to 466.67, which is just incredible here. And with that said, last one. Sorry, guys. Last link. We want to make sure everyone can join, right? We want to make sure everyone's aware of these weekly Sunday stock talks that we have for you guys. Okay. All right. There we go. So, let us talk about the markets. Links are shared. We're good to go. Can you guys hear me okay? See me okay? All right, perfect. Perfect. Markets are selling off, guys. Critical level here is going to be 465.50. Also for, if it breaks below that, 450, I would say is the next area of consolidation, 450. So if this does begin to sell off even more, we can easily see this sell off to 465, even 460, even 450. Okay, guys. The big sell off here. There's nothing saying this has to recover. Now, if it does recover tomorrow, okay, it could recover tomorrow, test this 478 resistance or even that 482 moving average, okay, 200 moving average. Now, why is this happening and what can we do tomorrow? Well, news, as of what I looked at, was this was 9 hours ago. Market's worst fears just became reality. I did do a short on this specifically. Oops, hold on. Let me see. Let's see if I can grab this whole thing. Why is it not letting me? There we go. Pulled up too many of them. Pulled up too many Okay, yeah, of course it's not letting me look at it, but I do have it in the Discord, so we're gonna go ahead and bring that up. And if you're a member of the Discord, you already seen this earlier from when I talked about it. But basically, in the trade ideas, I talk about, and we could actually just pull this up over here. I talk about this week brings crucial data starting with ISM manufacturing and JOLTS jobs opening on Tuesday, okay, followed by ADP payroll, ISMI services, and BLS job reports. Now, the JOLTS report is expected to show minimal change with job opening falling slightly from January's 774 million to 7.63 million in February. The ISM manufacturing likely fell into contraction in March, with prices paid index potentially rising further, indicating inflationary pressures in both manufacturing and services sectors. Employment data is mixed. ADP private payrolls may rise, but the official job report could show fewer jobs created in March, which wouldn't be good. A flood of data is coming, and multiple job and PMI reports may reveal the market's worst fear, which is a troubling combination of rising prices and the weakening job growth. It's a dangerous setup that could freeze the Fed. And I believe personally the market could sell off even more to possibly 450. And 450 would be our price target, as you would see on the, let's see, we can even go weekly here. It has a lot to go. It could even go all the way down to $400, but 450 would be this price target right here, this secondary line, finding some resistance and support previously at that 450 level. Now, after news on tariffs and countermeasures, we expect the S&P 500 to settle into trading range, possibly around 450 to 500, and consolidate in this range again. Also, a recession could trigger a severe bear market. Okay, I want you guys to be aware of that. Could trigger a severe bear market. Oh, look, I could just do this. Boom. And especially, with stocks like Apple potentially falling 40 to 50% due to excessively high growth expectations, high growth expectations. Markets currently assign a low probability to a recession as indicated by relatively low spreads on high yield corporate bonds. But I want you all to understand investors should be prepared for significant market volatility, including both sharp declines like we saw on Wednesday and Friday, as well as violent rallies like we seen days prior to that in these next coming months. We're talking about a couple of months now, okay? These are crazy times right now, so know when to take profit, cut your losses, and do not become a bag holder in these market conditions. It's important that we all understand that, hey, if we buy Tesla at 263 because we think this is a great area to buy and we think it's going to go to $480 again, we need to understand that this could go back down to $100, can go back down to $200. It could even go down to $80 or $50, right? I believe this can come down to $200 again. It was very close to touching at what, 260, and it could still come down even more to 250 and even lower. It got as low as 210 and bounced up. And we're talking about Tesla right now. But just because it's gone from 210 to 290 back down to 260 does not mean it has to bounce and continue to push up. This can continue to sell off and even trade horizontally below this moving average. Do you guys see that here? It's basically copying the Nasdaq's moving average. It popped up and then it got rejected. It pushed down below this moving average, pushed up, got rejected, indicating signs of more selling pressure. Now, this is the first time it's been below this moving average since March of 2023, January 2023. So for the very first time in over a year, almost 15 months, we're seeing signs of this below that green line here, the moving average, which isn't good for the bulls if you are considering to take a long position. Now, this could be a great opportunity for anyone to load up on some great companies like Tesla at 250s, $200, especially if it pushes back up to 400, 480 bucks. AMD buying it at $100 for a long position, getting back up to those highs of 200. Nvidia buying at $100 levels, you know, considering it can push back up to 150. Google down to 150. It can definitely go back up to 200, but guys, everything's pointing down right now. So what is selling off can definitely sell off even more. And the more it sells off, the more likely we are to be able to get a better position and a better price per share when it does begin to rally. If we start buying, Apple at 217 and it pushes down to 160 and then takes a year to push up to 200 again, then you're going to be bag holding and holding money as this continues to sell off back to $200 levels, back to $160 levels, if that is the case, resulting in, 25% loss. So let's wait for confirmation. Let's be patient. If the markets are going to continue to sell off, then we can do a good job by doing a couple things. We can either reduce our position size if we're long, right? We should have locked in profits a long time ago, but maybe reduce our position size, or better yet, not take a position at all. Sometimes the best positions to take are no positions at all, and that's okay to be a cash position or cash heavy when the times of the market's selling off. Now, if you're like me, who's not very patient, I don't want to wait months or even a year for the market to recover, I'm actually shorting the market, and I have been for quite some time. As you can see, all my trades here throughout the last couple of weeks, I've been trading SQQQ as it rises up and within these channels here that it's been trading in. Now SQQQ again pushed up significantly on Friday, and my only regret is, hey, I didn't hold it longer. I didn't hold long on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday longer, long enough to really make some decent profits. Now we did lock in 1 or 2% for the day, but again, these were 5% moves, 8% move days where we could have really grew our account size. So moving in to next week, I'm excited to see what happens, especially tomorrow when the market opens. We had a huge rally on Friday for SQQQ because the overall market sold off. The market was down and SQQQ pushed up 8.5%. My only regret is I didn't hold it long enough to actually benefit from it, but I know a lot of our LTE members that are in our group were able to benefit and make some really good money. We actually had someone here, I could actually show you in our profits channel, Bronson, look, I made 1%, 27 bucks, about 1%. Bronson, on the other hand, made $1,000 on an SQQQ call and $200 on another SQQQ call, basically shorting the market. So he did a great job locking in profits. We also had someone, I believe it was Kristen or Tina. We can go look at the main chat real quick. Kristen, she made $42. I'm not sure exactly on which company, but we have plenty of members locking in profits, shorting the market, and other ways as well. So going into tomorrow, I'm excited to see what happens because a few things can happen. Okay, 40 was a previous resistance for SQQQ. So if this does begin to, maybe it pushes up to 40, gets rejected, and starts selling off, this can sell off 19%. Well, we wouldn't want to invest in SQQQ if the market does begin to recover. Right, we're at that 465 level. There has been a lot of consolidation at 465. It hasn't gone below 465, and it has a lot of consolidation, right? Pushing up every time it touches 465, huge moves to the upside back to 478. If it does do this tomorrow, pushes off of 465, and we're able to get into a rally to 478 or even back to this moving average, the market moves 3.64%-ish tomorrow, right? 3%. Then TQQQ will actually move 9%. It'll move 9%, guys. And that's when we can make some decent money, 9 or 10% profit going long on TQQQ. Buying 100 shares of this would roughly be around $5,600. But that would result you in a nice $5 to $6 per share, resulting in $500 to $600, okay, in profit. Now, if QQQ fails this moving average, right? If it finally fells, it's tested it once, bounced off of it, bounced here again off of it. If it bounces again off of this, great, we'll go long. If it doesn't, and it actually begins to sell off, then we can see a lower low. We can see this go from 465 down to 450. 465, 450. Does it go to 400? I mean, the moving average as of the weekly has come all the way down and touched previously before, so it could still do that now. Okay, right now, the market from 540 has sold off 13%. If it gets to 450, that's 15%. Now we're in a correction zone. And from there, we can sell off even 30% back to 380s, $400 even for the overall NASDAQ market. It's done it before. This last pullback it had from 400 all the way back to 250 was a 35% sell-off. History does tend to repeat itself. Doesn't have to, but I want you all to be aware, anyone who's holding long term or considering going long tomorrow, there is a lot of downside just as much as there is upside on the overall NASDAQ market. Bronson, hey Bronson, how you doing, man? He put, I still locked in too early, but happy with what I was able to take a nice profit. Hey, $1,200, $1,300 for like an hour of trading. Fantastic. And yeah, we both left a lot of money on the table that day, but that's what makes us a great trader, is not beating ourselves up when we leave a few bucks on the table and patting ourselves on the back by walking away with money, right? Because that's the hard part. 90% of new investors or traders will lose 90% of their money in 90 days or less. It is a fact. So for anyone who's breaking even, for anyone who's making even the smallest amount of profits right now, just know you're doing better than 90% of the market, maybe even more of that. You're doing better than 99% of traders out there, okay? It's not an easy thing to do. So if you're already doing it, I want you to pat yourself on the back, okay? You're doing a good job. So I'm excited for tomorrow, guys. It's crazy. Markets are selling off, and that's just it. SPY, same situation. SPY is our S&P 500. NASDAQ is the overall NASDAQ market. So it's interesting to see how they're all correlated, how Tesla's, got the exact same setup here. We're getting rejected off of that 200-day moving average. AMD also got above it and now getting rejected. Nvidia never even got above the moving average, just consistently getting rejected off of that green line. Google, perfect here. Again, another solid rejection. Microsoft rejected, and you guys see it's painting that picture. As long as it's continuing to get rejected off of this bigger green level, this green line here, our moving average, then we will continue to see a bear market. We have to see these companies get above their own moving average and hold above it. Okay, look at this. Last time it was able to get above, it broke above at 174, and it held above this moving average very nicely all the way up to 230s before breaking below. Broke below a little, went all the way back up to 242s, and ever since it got up to those 242 levels and broke below this moving average, do you guys see that? It has been in a downward trend ever since. So moving averages are great indications of overall trend and direction, and right now that's what's going to happen tomorrow. It's bounced several times off of these support levels, and they can bounce again. We can see a very bullish day tomorrow and Tuesday, possibly even throughout the week, but all it takes is one significant sell-off or news catalyst or something that Trump says or does or something significant for this to sell off even more or to rally up even higher. Now, there is a lot of volatility, guys. There's a lot of volatility in all of these companies, and I want you guys to be aware of that. There is money to be made, whether you want to go long or short on QQQ. We got days where it'll push up overnight. We got a day where it'll sell off midday. It'll push up throughout the day, sell back off. It's insane. That's a crazy market volatility that we're in right now. But overall trend recently has been very bearish, and I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. Good evening, Major. Good evening. Notice some of you guys are stepping in, walking in. Great. Now, as far as the VIX index, okay, this tracks overall greed and fear. As you can see, greed is when there's, a lot of greed being had way up at this level. Fear, of course, below. We haven't had a lot of fear. Now there's been quite a bit of selling pressure, fear, people going a little more cash heavy more recently, but now that the markets have pulled back so much, we're actually seeing a lot less fear. We're seeing a little bit more greed, and leading on into Friday, there was a lot of greed, and now with this selling pressure, people aren't so sure anymore that the markets are going to recover. So that's why we had that big red, that red candle there on Friday. So with that said, let's see, overall gold. Gold pushed up to almost $20 here on the gold barracks. That was pretty good. It's been very bearish. Gold prices have been really great right now as far as gold spot price. Crypto, again, kind of tracking the overall market itself as well. If we look at the 4-hour chart, right, very bearish, selling off from those $109,000 levels, finding that support right around, say, 80,000, 81,000, pushing up, trying to get above that moving average, this green line here, and wasn't able to. It also got rejected, just like the NASDAQ market. So again, a key level. Can we see a lot of volatility? Yes. Can this be bullish tomorrow and Tuesday, and then potentially sell off and have another 2, 3, 4 days of selling pressure? Yes. Can the markets begin to recover? Yes. They're all great answers. They're all great questions. I can't predict the future. No one can. What we can do is just be patient tomorrow morning, show up to the live stream, ready to go, cash heavy, and when we see overall direction, whether it's bearish or bullish, we will then be able to get in and ride that wave for the day of whatever it is. Tempest AI, we're going to go a couple of these companies I'm tracking. Tempest AI was trading within this nice little channel here for a while, and previously kind of broke that channel pattern, but every time it had this dip, it would push all the way up to like $70, come back down to 40s, push all the way back up to $70, $80, come all the way back down to what, $30, $35, $40, pushed all the way up to $90, and then came back down. Now this is Tempest AI. There's been a lot of talk about like Nancy Pelosi and chatter about that inside this community or whatever. Kind of like a GME stock, just a little bit more sophisticated, pump and dumps, basically. But if you see value in it and you want to try to take your hand in a couple dollars here, we could see a nice rally again. It's setting up for a potential reversal. Now again, this can get cheaper, and this pattern could also be broken. So I want you guys to be aware of that, okay? Bronson, I'm good. Excited to see how this week plays out. The market is obviously scared of these Trump tariffs, but come Tuesday, it can turn around. Be just patient until you're sure direction. Yep, exactly, Bronson. Patience. Patience is going to keep money in our pocket and keep us from getting burned. Celsius looking really good here, right? Pushing up from those $21 levels to $34. Again, getting rejected off of this previous resistance that we've seen at $36. I love to see it. I love to pick up some shares, maybe around 30 bucks. If it bounces off of this moving average, and if it gets below it, hey, we'll pick some up at $20, $25. I do want to start adding some of these positions or stocks that are cheap to my larger accounts to hold long term for some of these nice swing trades. So let's let Celsius sell off a little bit. If it bounces off of this moving average at 30, we can get a nice retracement back up to 36 of around 22% profit. So we're going to wait for this to sell off a little bit more. Put our indicator right around $30 here. Create an alert for below 30, right around $30, okay? If it hits that, great. If it doesn't, we get a significant breakout above 36, then we may consider going long on it above 36 to those previous highs of, what is that, like $99. So we could either pick up some cheap when it sells off, or we can actually catch this breakout on Celsius if it happens. But looks like it may be testing and maybe even breaking out tomorrow, looking at the 1 hour chart, right on that moving average right there, I'd love to see this push back up. I mean, that'd be a nice little trade. If it's bullish, even back up to 35.50s, that's a 6% profit, $2 per share, 100 shares, about $3,000 investment, make you a nice $100, $200. So Celsius is definitely on our radar. Century Aluminum, let me know if I'm going too fast or if I'm going too slow. Let me know. Okay. Also, let's see here. Century Aluminum picking up at around $16.50, $17 area. This would be where I'd want to buy more if it bounces off of this level and shows sign of it rallying. This is aluminum, so it is somewhat affected by the tariffs, but of course not quite. Everything's made with aluminum. Like literally every single can is made with aluminum. So at $18, it still potentially can sell off another buck or two. And if it does, we can see a nice rally of, let's see, about 24 to 25%, you know, back up to those $20 levels. And as you can see here, we've been tracking Century Aluminum for quite some time, since even back in October and November of last year, it had a solid breakout from 16 up to $25. This was huge for aluminum. That was a 46% profit for $8 per share. 100 shares, $800. I mean, could you imagine being able to be a perfect trader on this one? In 1 month, it went up $8. Okay. And so now it's been trading within this channel here, picking up at 16 multiple times, picking up at 17, selling at 21. That was a 26% profit. Again, doing the same thing like clockwork. That was a nice 35% profit. And both of these moves were within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. This one was within 1 week, a 22% profit in 1 week, and a 23% profit in another week, 7 or 8 days. So what we're looking for is for this to sell off a little bit more down in this area at some point in the next week or two, load up at 16s, and ride that wave back up for a nice 24, 25% profit. Okay, so if this gets below 18, let's see, I'd say like 1750 range, I wouldn't mind buying, because my risk to reward would be a lot less, right? I can manage my risk a little better. If I buy at 17 and it goes down to 1650, maybe I cut my losses. I buy at 1650, it goes below that and finally breaks this trend of support, then maybe I don't take a trade. But if I start seeing signs of it pushing up like this, then that's when we're going to want to take a trade on Century Aluminum. Okay, Lewis to Brown, can you show me how to start and how to use WEBULL? Yeah, I talk about it. I have videos in my Learn to Earn lesson library. It's 100% free. It's a YouTube playlist. I talk to you about how you can get started with a brokerage account, how you could set up your WEBULL account to look like mine, and how to take your first trade. I also talk about indicators, moving averages, support and resistance levels, and everything you need to learn to get started. Okay, it's 100% free, and it's like 10 or 12 videos, and it's a series of videos I created to help anyone new who wants to learn how to start investing and even use WEBULL specifically. So go check that out, Lewis. Definitely. Live Life, that's a good one at 1718. Yep. Okay. Palantir is another popular one. Been catching a lot of support at around $70, and previously bounced right at that $70 mark like clockwork, guys. We cannot make this up. $70 was a great support for Palantir. Tried to push up. It did push up to literally like, what is that, $98 here. And since then has been getting rejected by this 200-day moving average. We did trade it one day, and it wasn't a good day to trade it, right? We were anticipating that breakout above. Didn't happen, cut our losses, and got out. Now, it has a potential to go up to $125. Does that mean it's going to happen today, tomorrow, or next week? No. But what we can do is by identifying when this does begin to bounce, right, gets above these moving averages, then we can make some pretty decent money. This last rally from $70 to $98 was a 36% move or $26 per share. That's insane. Even 10 shares would have resulted in $260 profit, and we're talking within 2 weeks. Okay. Now that is Palantir. Again, really simple. I want to pick up at 70s, 75s, maybe even $80. Right now it's a little too expensive and it's getting rejected off of this moving average. Once it gets above this moving average, we can see a huge rally. See how it pushes above this moving average here? It got above it, came back down, tested it as a support level, and then pushed up and continued to push up for quite some time before that nasty little red candle there started a selling pressure or sell-off. Okay, now SoFi, again, one of those companies that we are watching. I love to see this right here. It did bounce previously off of that moving average, about $11, went all the way up to 14. Beautiful rally, guys. You can't make these up. Really nice rally here from 1036 to 13. That was a 33% profit in 2 weeks, and since then it's been selling off. So this is setting up for another move. Let's see if we could pick some up around $11. Maybe anything under 11 would be a good area to consider buying. And then loading up at this $11 mark, potentially coming back up to test this moving average, which could easily be at $12.50, potentially $13. Because again, this is a moving average. So the more that the company sells off, the lower the moving average will go, and vice versa. The more the company pushes up and grows, the higher the moving average grows with it. So as this sells off, maybe we see this moving average come down 1250-ish, and we might be able to get a nice run, like I said, from 1030s, 1050s up to 1250s. That'd be a nice 17% profit. And when it does really begin to rally back up to those $18 levels, buying in at a lower level, you know, not buying at 12 bucks, but maybe buying at 10.50, $11, you can see a huge growth potential of a 68%. 68%. Okay, guys. So SoFi is definitely on the radar. SMCI, another company, it's been having some issues lately, but been trading horizontally, always catching some support at around 33 to 27, $28, and recently pushing up to 66 bucks. So a lot of great potential for SMCI. I again would not consider trading it right now until we start seeing signs of it pushing up. But you know, if we see a breakout above these 37, maybe $38, consider going long. But if it breaks 33, then we may consider you know, not taking position of SMCI at all. LUNR is another great company that we've been watching. Again, in those levels, right? It's consolidated within $7 to $9.50 before a nice big rally up to $25. So if you believe in Lunar or Initiative Machines, they're a space exploration company that focuses on lunar missions, and I believe a mission to Mars soon. Then you know, this can be a company that you might see value in holding a little long term. But again, I want to see a breakout above 950 before I actually take a trade on this. And if it breaks below, you know, say, where is this at 770, like 650, 630s, then that means, you know, this isn't going to hold up. It's going to sell off even more. You can buy it for cheaper. But I'd love to see this consolidate, stay at least within this level here, and eventually push back up to those highs. If it can push back up to those $25 levels, that's a 200% profit. Okay, 200% profit. XPEV, looking decent again at support levels. 1950 support, 1950 support, again right there at that level, 1950 support. So XPEV is an electric car company in China. They do have some high expectations for 2026, which would be to have public flying vehicles available to the public to use. I've seen some pictures, really cool pictures, but I just don't know if they're there yet, even in just 1 year. Nonetheless, though, it doesn't matter what I think. It's what matters what the company does. So if it breaks this 1950 support, this could sell off even more back down to those $11 levels. If it pushes up and holds support at 1940, gets above the moving average of around 21, 22, then we could see us really push up back to those $27 levels for a real quick 40% profit. So that would be a really nice reversal setup there if it does take into account. Now remember, all these trades are risky. Trading in general is risky. You know, I'm just a guy in my office that likes to talk about stocks. If you see value in what I do here, smash the like button, consider subscribing, and just know that these are simple observations. Anyone can draw support and resistance levels. What really matters is what the overall trend is, direction, catalyst, news, all that plays a major factor in the direction that the stock is going to take. This can sell off for the next month or two. And I don't want anyone buying into this company because Johnny said it had to bounce at 1950. Okay? You are a big boy, you're big girls. You guys are going to ultimately click the buttons, buy and sell, and take your own trades under your own risk and you're under your own trade plan. Okay? I don't want to be responsible for your losses or your winners. If you make profit, I have people all the time, you know, tell me thank you, Johnny, and stuff like that, and how they learned so much. But ultimately, that's you that did it. You pushed the buttons. You spent the time learning. You spent the time reviewing the charts and putting in the effort and the time to become a better trader. When you fail, you learn a lesson. When you win, you get some profits and you get a you know, go eat a nice steak dinner or something, right? So it's all about intention and risk management on every trade. Okay, one last one, Soundhound AI at 850, nice support level here at 850, pushed up to $25. Same story as pretty much Lunar, and is now at that 850 mark. Again, it is below the moving average, so we don't want to invest in any of these companies that are below this green moving average here. We want to wait for it to show signs of it pushing above this moving average. Once it can push above the moving average, then we can see some really nice progress. It's going to come down here. It's probably going to pop back up above, maybe come down and test that moving average. And then as it slowly starts to go up, that's when we want to invest. We want to invest when the stock is going up, not down, because we think we're getting a good price. If I bought at 16 or 17 because I thought it was a good price, I would have been wrong because it would have came down to 12. Okay, well, I'm going to buy some at 12. It pushes up to 17 and I don't lock in profits. It comes all the way down to 850. Now I'm down a significant amount of money because I kept trying to force the trade. It's the bottom, it has to go up. It's the bottom, it has to go up. Okay, $8. It's the bottom. I'm going to buy more. It has to go up. It's not always the case. This can continue to sell off to extreme lows. I mean, this thing can go to $1.93. Okay, so be aware of that. We want to wait for overall direction. Overall direction must be on our favor before we take a trade. I'm trying to showcase that right here. Now, would you want to invest in this, back in this level? So even if you caught it at a high of $16 and it pulled back to 13, 12, you know, hey, there's a better chance that this is going to bounce and be bullish still off of these levels and indicators. So I know that I'm not at a lot of risk if I held my position a little longer because it did push up, right? I could have bought here, been wrong 2 days, 3 days, a week, and then been completely right a week later if I held. All because it's showing signs of it being bullish on these indicators. I can't say that if it's on this side. If I bought here at the high and you're wrong, you're down. You are so down. You are losing money, and it all was because we didn't trade direction. You're down 45%. Okay, we do not want that for you guys. I do not want that for you guys. So we need to understand direction. We need to understand overall trends and when it's time to load up. You know that, hey, I might buy 10, 20 shares at this level due to the fact that it's consolidated at 850 so many times. There's a higher probability that this will bounce off of this level because it's bounced off of these levels before. Now, if it doesn't, I have a very small position and it fails, I lose small. But if I start winning, this starts pushing up, pushes up to 980. Maybe I buy a little bit more on the pullback at 9, pushes up to 1050. I buy the pullback at 10, pushes up to 1150, pulls back to 1050, retest that level there, pushes up again to 13. Now we're in a whole different mindset of our trade, right? We're not trying to force a trade. We're not trying to find the complete low. We're not trying to go all in, do or die. We're just slowly adding to our position as this pushes up to where now we're up to this $13 mark and we can decide, okay, hey, I'm going to lock in profits. Now you can start selling. You can start taking a little off the top here. You can take a little bit more off the top if it hits 14. You could take a little bit more off the top if it hits 15. You could also do the exact opposite. You could add more and add more and add more. And then when you start seeing signs of it kind of consolidating like this and not really making any more highs, well, then of course it'll probably start to come down. And that's where you can really consider locking in your profits in that next consolidation area. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope it makes sense. If it did, definitely smash that like button for me. Overall, though, I'm excited for the markets. If you guys want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, it's 100% free. All you have to do is be a YouTube subscriber. And if you want to take it a step further, join our free Discord, 100% free, lifetime access. You can get in touch with me on a more personal level. I share with you my trade ideas, my thought process. Even when I'm not live, say I go live for an hour tomorrow, I'm still holding a position. I will update you whether I add more to it or sell my position, whether I make profits or take a loss. I give you all those updates in the Discord so you don't have to wait for that next YouTube video. You get those live updates automatically when you're in the Discord. Okay, guys? Jose, you might want to keep an eye on NEO. NEO has historically support level around 340, 360. Okay, let's check it out. NEO. Always better to be late to the rally than first to sell off. Yep, early to sell off. Thanks. Have a great rest of the weekend, everyone, and hopefully does well. Stick around. We're going to check out this other company here, NEO. Another electric car company, right? Isn't it? China-based, yeah, electric car company. 375. It's definitely more of a penny stock, I'd say, compared to the other one. That's why I don't really like to mention it. I have plenty of chart analysis on it. I have traded it in the past as well. Yeah, 360 does look like a really strong support. Is this something I'd really recommend? Not necessarily. Again, it's somewhat of a penny stock. 370 is low, but this can actually go all the way down to $1, like most of the other companies I did talk about. So, not saying this one isn't any less risky or more risky, but it is a penny stock. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, all these other companies were well above at least $5. I'm gonna say over 10, but Sound and Lunar recently got below that $10 mark. Nonetheless, most of them are above 20, 30, 20, 30, 40, $50. So not a bad call out nonetheless, and this very much could bounce off of this level. But again, there's no sign right now that this is actually going to be bullish, right? When we talk about the 3 stages of reversal, we want to remember that we have our rejection period. And if this is truly a consolidation period, okay, just drawing this out, doesn't mean it has to happen, then we're going to see some consolidation within this level here, right? And then we'll get that nice little kind of bounce and kind of start to push up. And we want to be on this end of it, okay? We want to be on this back end of it. So I hope that helps. Could be a loading zone. 370 could be a nice zone to load. But so could 360, so could 350, so could $2. We just want to make sure that this is actually on the other side of this and pushing up, showing signs of progress, right? Not a single time in this period right here, not a single time in this period did it fall below this green line, this moving average, showing signs of it being bullish. Right now, no sign of that currently. No sign of that. Okay, hope that helps. All right, guys. I had a lot of fun here today with you all, talking about the market conditions and what to expect for tomorrow. I think we're going to get a bit of a rally. I think it's going to rally really nice, maybe pop up to that 478, maybe 480, maybe even 485, and then I think it's going to get rejected again. I really do. But that's just my thought. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Maybe we could do a poll in the Discord overnight. And yeah, I appreciate your guys' time. Like always, remember, let's end the year on a green note. And we'll see you all in tomorrow morning's live day trading session at Market Open. We'll see you there, guys, and have a great rest of your Sunday night.